Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I am back with a replay that I took from the front page of drop.sc. Nothing else, superficially speaking. It looks like there's something here that I can't quite get rid of. This is a little bit confusing. What's that all about? I don't know if you guys can see it here, but I can certainly see it on my screen. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and give both players their introduction. Hold on just a minute. In the upper left-hand corner of the map, spawning is our Protoss in the red trunks. We have Myth JayPower. At least the clan that he comes from is Myth. I've never heard of it before. In the lower right-hand corner, spawning as our Terran in the blue trunks, I give you all Veitstanz. If I had to guess, I'd say this was probably played out on the EU server. And the map that we are on today is going to be Akilon Wastes. You know, this certainly paves the way for very interesting games, to say the very least. We're talking drop play, bio play, things of that nature. It just seems like mech is kind of losing its trend in TVP. It was initially a very popular, if you will, matchup to use mech, but of course I'm sure that's going to change in the near future. Or it changed substantially, simply given the fact that you know, Protoss has had it pretty much figured out. I mean, the Colossi would take down the Hellbats, and then the Immortals that were left over would essentially deal with the tanks or the Thors and the composition. Long story short, it doesn't seem to really pan out for Terran players to go with mech. But both players giving out their good luck, have fun, or at least we have that coming from Veitstanz. And finally from JayPower. Now, I'm thinking this is going to probably be followed up with a Reaper. It all depends on essentially how long he's willing to wait. There's the orbital command going down, and now the Reaper. Not even waiting till he gets past 52 gas to make that Reaper. And now we have JayPower here throwing down a cybernetics core and a second gas. Excuse me, but of course there is an SCV kind of just patrolling around here. I think I know what he's going to do, perhaps. You know, it wouldn't be all that illogical to see an engineering bay block go down. I've seen players do that right here, and then essentially some Protoss players will make the mistake of sending both their first Stalker and the Mothership Core to deal with the engineering bay, and then that basically paves the way for the Reaper to go into the main, because neither the Mothership Core nor the Stalker are in the main to deal with the harass that the Reaper is going to deal out on the mineral line. Okay. Aside from that, I guess we got a little bit of fill-in time between the time the Reaper goes in there and scouts and see what's up. But wait, hold on just a second. There's actually nothing here from our Protoss to defend versus that. He's going to lose a probe or two. Now there is the Mothership Core, but of course the Reaper can outrun the Mothership Core. Does get a single probe kill and gets out there. And I guess now, ooh, boy, that Reaper's so close. 4 HP. One more shot from anything and it will die. Just sneeze on it and it's dead. Stargate opener coming from JayPower. Very interesting. Question is, will we have something out in time to deal with it? And this is basically evidence that we're going to see a bio transition. Not a follow-up, but definitely a transition. Marines here, the Reaper, that's another probe lost, but it's just a scouting probe, so it was essentially meant to be lost. You know, 2 probes isn't the end of the world, it certainly isn't. Let me see here. I'm trying to figure out just how that thing got there. Like, this little thing, it's still bothering me. Alright, it'll be following me everywhere, but, anywho, Reaper's going to go back towards the natural and just see where things are going. And I guess this is where I take things into the fill-in time, since both players are going to be macroing up. Last night I got done calling my university that I will be studying abroad with in Korea. That will be a city known as Daegu. Pretty far to the south, you know, pretty far from any North Korean threat. But really close to any South Korean pro players. I'm sure, you know, it wouldn't be entirely illogical to find out that a good deal of Korean StarCraft 2 pros actually come from this city. And, I mean, just given the fact that it has the 4th largest population in Korea, that certainly would not be an illogical postulate. Reaper looks like it's going to get trapped here and shut down after taking out a total of 4 probes. So altogether, Veitstanz actually making this some very effective harass. I'm pretty sure one of these players is GM. It's just that I forget which one. It's always been my dream to maybe go to a GSL. The only esports events that I've been to thus far in my entire life have come from me studying abroad in Taiwan about a year ago, and there's the Oracle getting a good deal of kills. JayPower is just like, I'm not going to take that, no. Oh, but that Oracle gets shut down after killing 6 workers, so this is kind of panning out for JayPower just a little bit more. Alright, now here we go. Robotics Bay and Forge going down at the same time, so we're probably going to see +1 going down at about the same time that we're going to see Extended Thermal Lance going down. But I mean, there's just so much in the way of esports that just it just I don't know. There's only 2 things that make sense to me in life. One is studying Chinese, and the other one is esports. You know, I don't know how else to describe it. I initially got started on studying Chinese from a girl that I met. Her parents didn't speak English, so I was like, okay, well, if I really like this girl, I'm gonna learn Chinese. And that's what I did. Met her parents. They didn't really like me. It's not the end of the world, but hey, you know, I got a sense of direction with it, and from that I tried to follow up the esports scene, basically. I was thinking to myself, well, wait a minute, you know, everybody knows that the world's best StarCraft players are Korean. That's no doubt. I mean, there's LG IM MVP. He's dominating the WCS EU basically. Third command center finishing up for Veitstanz. Really wants to make up for the damage that he took earlier, but I think altogether he's going to be just fine. Of course, Startail Miss I think is the most beautiful Vixen to ever play StarCraft 2. Aphrodite and Barbie Prime are also quite beautiful as well, but I can't understand what they're saying. My Korean is less than par. It's really subpar. And we have the Hallucinated Phoenix coming down here for JayPower. Both players are just going to try and macro up while building armies. That's essentially what they're doing now. And basically JayPower, in case he couldn't tell from that probe coming in by earlier, he knows that this is essentially going to be a bio composition that is now moving out towards his front door. And JayPower is trying to do what he can to keep his third secure once he gets it down. That means collapsing the rock tower. Good move. The medevacs are going to come here and see that, and of course the Marines are as well, and they're already hard at work attacking the rocks here. Of course, the question is, I mean, like, with how quickly these fall, you know, the rocks, I'm a little curious. Is JayPower even remotely aware of what kind of trouble he could be running into here? He does have a Phoenix patrolling here. I like that. That's pretty clever. Not a lot of players do this. There are some. I've seen European pros do this all the time, sort of. And this Marauder, unfortunately, is going to be stuck down here. Okay, now the question is, do we have... Okay, we don't have concussive shells. We do have stim. We do have +1. So perhaps this is some kind of a timing drop. Not really working out so far for Veitstanz. He just lost a good deal of Marines there. Maybe 5 or 6, but of course that's his entire harass force. It looks like the Marauder basically prevented the third from going down for a short period of time, and now we have completely bare and exposed third area, if not a second entrance to the natural. So, I mean, in that essence, you can see that Veitstanz has done damage. He has. I mean, I'm pretty sure Day 9 would say that. He's gonna, you know, just looking at it from that perspective, Protoss is not meant to, you know, essentially at this stage of the game, throw down a pylon and a couple of gateways right here to wall off. Now, but the Phoenix has caught up on these medevacs, and we don't have Veitstanz reacting. He's going to lose a good deal of supply with these. That's a lot of food. This is actually contributing to his losses right now. Look at this. 18 units altogether, and now if this medevac is not saved, which it may not be... Oh! The Phoenix! Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Those are the world's luckiest Marines in the history of StarCraft that I've ever seen. So here we go. The third's about halfway done. And of course, as I said before, if we see Protoss, you know, damage, there's just so much of a window of opportunity for damage to be done here. Simply due to the fact that our Protoss has not put up a couple of gateways, and he doesn't quite have the economy floating to do that just yet. He has enough minerals, yes, but what is he going to put his resources to right now? Looks like more pylons, perhaps. There is a 4th base already starting for Veitstanz as well. By the way, if you Googled your name and you found yourself playing this replay, I do apologize if I am pronouncing your name incorrectly. My German is less than par, and I love this move that we see from JayPower. He's patrolling Phoenixes. He's using them the same way I like to use Overlords. Playing Protoss like it's Zerg. Alright, but now we do have Ghosts being integrated into the mix. Ghost Academy's down here, so I'm looking forward to seeing some nukes being thrown down in this game. You know, if it comes out of the silo, I will certainly try to catch it. Yeah. Of course, Startail Legends can do that like a pro. You know, my understanding is he used to be a pro gamer, perhaps. Maybe in the Brood War days, but now his biggest role is essentially just observing. He does the observing for the GSL, which at the time of the last IPL, he was not only doing GSL casting, or not casting, observing. He was actually just doing GSL observing. Very interesting character none the least. But now for Protoss we have Charge +2 going down, Psionic Storm, and Armor level 3 going down for him as well. +2 Armor just now finishing up for Terran. I think, you know, I mean, Armor is perhaps the more... what's the word I'm looking for? It's typically a Protoss player is going to go Armor if they're going to use a heavy deal of Zealots. And we can see that he's going to use a heavy deal of Zealots because he's already got Charge. The Stalkers are going to be mostly used for cleaning up any Vikings that enter the composition. And all they have to do is blink and be microed correctly, and they can take down any number of Vikings. But of course, they must also be managed very carefully. There are Marauders here in the composition, which are meant to counter these Stalkers. Now, we do have Veitstanz moving out. The supply difference is almost non-existent. And now we have a lot of Ghosts here. I wouldn't say a lot. Yeah, okay, now there's a lot. And no High Templar here. Actually, they're in back. I did call that out incorrectly. And now we just see both players looking for a good engagement position. The force fields go down. The EMPs are beautiful, but we need to see maybe a couple of force fields. Feedback's going down on the medevacs. No storms. One storm finally does go down, and that was absolutely clever by JayPower. He took down the medevac so that when the storms went down, there would be little to no energy left to use to heal these Marines. That's actually... I never would have thought of that. Like, then again, I don't play Protoss, but I mean, that was just absolutely brilliant. Think about that. You know, just the follow-up. But Veitstanz is also going for another expo behind this. He's like, okay, well, I'm Terran. I should be expoing more than Protoss anyway. But at the same time, we should also possibly be seeing a little more harass. You know, drops, very powerful things that many Protoss cannot deal with in multiple angles at the same time. There are, of course, a couple of cannons down here, but if we just see our Terran basically drop here, then he's good to go. I want to say that the biggest problem with StarCraft is not mind games. Instead, it is mindset. Got +3 going down for Protoss. There's going to be about 100... No, not 100. A 50-second window where Veitstanz's +3 will be finished before his opponent's +3. But he already has +3 armor, so that will basically counter that. And, you know, overall, we're going to see Veitstanz with a short window of opportunity that will give him upgrade advantages. MLG casters say that there's very little difference between +2 for Protoss and +3 for Protoss. And now we've got Harass going down. The Ghost Academy was just taking down, and we have a single Zealot going into the third of the Terran. JayPower is going to try and take down the Armory now. This will... I don't know what it'll do. It'll essentially put a stop on any upgrades going to Vikings. And now we have to see, essentially... We have to see Veitstanz deal with this, but right now he's sending out some Vikings to deal with that, and that's it. It's like he's completely forgotten about what's going down in the main. Ghosts and Marauders did take care of that. Veitstanz not in too much of a comfortable position. But I want to say that thus far he's doing so far so good. Not too much damage done, simply the ability to make ghosts for the time being has been dealt with. This could be his undoing, however, and at the same time we also see a small Zealot run by here. Charge goes down on both of these Zealots over here, and until this point in the game we have seen JayPower take down a total of 12 So what I'm looking for, 12 workers, and JayPower is looking for a position that would be brilliant for him to engage. Unfortunately, Veitstanz pulling his main army to deal with all of that, pulling him effectively out of position. And what is this? Are we going to see some Blink Stalkers kind of doing a run-by here? They can blink into the third, and that's exactly what they do. They're going to go to town on this mineral line. Okay, so he's basically looking to throw away these Stalkers. He knows he's not going to get them back. It's like close to impossible. Almost any player who does that kind of a blink, that kind of an offensive blink while the rocks are still down here, knows that. But at the same time, he's going to lose them, and we see a double Stargate follow-up behind this. So this is going to bring it to 3 Stargates altogether, and I think perhaps we're going to see maybe Carriers, maybe Void Rays, maybe Phoenixes. Phoenixes to deal with Vikings are something that I know a lot of Chinese pros like to do. More particularly, IG Max said, as well as IG Gem, both of them like to use Phoenixes, again, to deal with their opponent's Vikings. Scan goes down on this base, and it looks like we have the Ghosts basically dealing with that. There was some action here that we just missed. Must have been DTs, yes, as I did hear that. And another, oh my god, more harass coming down here. JayPower is just eating his opponent alive using double Warp Prism, and Veitstanz just leaves the game. He didn't even want to deal with that. He's just like, oh, great. Oh, I can't really blame him for that. He basically knew he was caught out. I mean, there's no getting around that. If you look at this, I want to say, you know, he still had a viable chance to keep playing. But, again, the infrastructure in the main was being destroyed. He had scans left. He could have taken down this. He could have taken down that. But, of course, static defenses for Terran only exist in the form of anti-air. Well, if you guys liked what you saw here today, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. This has been Breaker. I will see you guys next time.